Jennifer Stefano lit up the house. Girl, are you there?
I am there. Hi, Stephen.
Jennifer, I gotta tell you, you've been on fire as I've seen you around the country, and I've been screening the Governor Palin's film that I made, The Undefeated. But man, on the in the big stage, in the big room, you lit it up. Why don't you tell people what you were talking about there on the panel at CPAC?
The number one thing I got to ask, Stephen, and you know this, it's the big question in America. What is the difference between the Tea Party and occupiers? What do you guys have in common? Don't you have a lot of things that you both have in common? And that's always from out of the mainstream. Like, gosh, you guys are so similar. Meanwhile, we're sitting there, singing the praises of America. They're burning the flag. So I thought this symbols are so important, Stephen, and you know it. I mean, you made that great movie, The Undefeated. And we talk about symbols. Sarah Palin's become a symbol for all of us. So when I was thinking about how do you best symbolize the difference between Occupy and Tea Party without getting into a lot of policy wonky nonsense, I just think it's very simple. Take the ultimate symbol of liberty and freedom, the American flag, hoist it in the air, and here's how you're going to separate the Tea Party from occupiers. When that flag goes up, the Tea Party stand and pledge it. The occupiers, they defecate on it. Boom. There's your difference.
That got I got to tell you that got a pretty rousing. Listen, give people your background. I mean, you're the prototypical person I made the film Fire from the Heartland about. Why don't you give people your background? Because you didn't go to Wharton Business School. You're not one of the 1%. Why don't you tell people your background? How you got engaged in politics? How your journey took you to CPAC?
Right, and no, I would never go to the Wharton School of Business. I wanted to get an actual education. So I went to the Villanova School of Business, was educated by the Augustinians. So there you go. And being from Philadelphia, I can say that, knowing full well what to say. But so again, I was a stay-at-home mother. In November of 2008, two remarkable things happened in my life. Barack Obama became president of the United States, and I became a mother for the first time. And I just knew when that happened, and then I watched him, and I watched his ultimate disdain for us. I mean, have you ever felt less liked by anyone? And I mean, I'm not making this a popularity contest, but I really think that this president, Barack Obama, comes out of the White House and, screams to his Secret Service and citizens, reverse, reverse, like get away from them. He just despises us, and it cannot be more evident in the way he talks about us as a nation, the way he looks at us. He calls us lazy. It's a terrible thing to have that person leading the greatest country on earth and telling them that he was going to save them. I mean, it's just remarkable to me that this guy out there, and I said, no, I am not. I know my heart is at the home. I am a practitioner of the domestic arts. I love being a wife and a mother. But this was not going to stand with me. So I went out and raised a little hell, and then it just caught fire, not just for someone like me, but for so many people. And now I'm working with Americans for Prosperity. I'm running the state of Pennsylvania from them. Stephen, how it goes for a lot of us. We're all over TV, on Fox, and everywhere else. So it's a powerful place to
Tell
be.
us about AFP. I'm actually speaking for those keeping score and coming to my website. I'm actually speaking in Tallahassee this Wednesday for Slade O'Brien and the guys at AFP down in Florida, and Jason Hoyt and that whole crew down there in the Central Florida Tea Party will be around. But Americans for Prosperity. Why don't you tell people what is Americans for Prosperity? What are you guys doing in Pennsylvania?
Well, first of all, you're going to have the best time with Slade. He is one of my all-time favorite people and a real hero of the movement. I mean, he has been pushing for this for years. But look, American for Prosperity, again, in November of 2008, I had my first baby. By the next year, when I was getting involved in the Tea Party, I was pregnant again, and I had no idea what to do. I mean, here I was, a housewife, and the next thing you know, I'm down in the halls of Congress telling them Obamacare is unacceptable, and I've read this 2,000-page bill, and here's what's wrong with it, and here's what you're going to do. And I was looking for something more. I mean, you really needed to harness that. I knew I needed to become more precision and trained. And my husband found online this thing called Right Online that Americans for Prosperity did, training for activists. So 6 months pregnant, I drove 2 hours to find this organization I never heard of. And, man, did they ever champion this 6-month pregnant housewife. And it wasn't, you hear all sorts of nonsense about Americans for Prosperity, but they championed me for who I was, for where I was at, and for what I was fighting for. And I went from that to someone now who is literally a professional defender of liberty, and that is a very big deal. And I couldn't have done it without Americans for Prosperity.